News alert, we are covering two major stories off the top tonight. The first is the gas shortage that is crippling New Jersey and New York after Hurricane Sandy brought much of the Northeast to a standstill. Now, state troopers and local police have deployed to the remaining gas stations in the New York City metro area and still have gas and power, those few that do, as agonizingly long lines have frayed the nerves and are now adding to the problems that are gripping residents who are now entering their fourth night without power or heat. Now, most gas stations in the region remain closed, and those that are open are facing very angry customers that are forced to wait hours to have a chance to fill up their cars. Now, the temperatures in the Northeast are dropping. Mass transit in both states is barely running, and driving around an already congested city is becoming downright perilous. Now, tonight we are hearing reports of violence, with one Queens man reportedly pulling a gun on another motorist at a gas station. And right here in New York City, local news stations are reporting that residents are now digging through dumpsters for food. So where's President Obama? Well, after his photo op with Governor Chris Christie, in the help of your tax dollars, he boards Air Force One and he begins his day with a stump speech where? In Green Bay, Wisconsin. He then flew from where else from there? He went to Las Vegas. And his final event is just getting underway right now in Boulder, Colorado. When that concludes, he plans to stay the night not in the Northeast, but in Ohio. And with the horrifying images of Sandy's devastation now contrasted with the president's constant campaigning, this is starting to look like, in my opinion, Obama's Katrina. Now, we're going to have reaction to this momentarily from former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani. But first, I also want to update you tonight on the other story that continues to change by the minute. Now, tonight, there is a likelihood that power is not going to be back on in New York till, some estimates, November 11th or beyond. There's no heat. There's no gas. People are dumpster diving for food. It was all over the Drudge Report tonight. The president, he goes for his photo op. He's gone. No, there's no help coming in here at all. It's now, what, 4 days into this? I mean, I really believe this is now this is a disaster out there.
Well, it is a disaster, particularly for the people in Breezy Point and Rockaway and other parts of this area that have been disproportionately hit by it. And the reality is, there's a reason why we can't turn the power on, within a day or two, and that's because we're at the breaking point in terms of our sources of power. We haven't rebuilt our infrastructure the way we should. We haven't built the transmission lines. We haven't modernized them. We haven't built enough generators. We haven't built a nuclear power plant, and who knows how long. And this is what we're suffering from. This is supposed to be a modern country. Shouldn't take us 4 or 5 days to put the power back on if we had sufficient infrastructure to bring that power to us in a kind of a sensible way.
Hey, look at these gas lines. People cannot get gas. And now people waiting online for hours and hours and hours. This is Long Island. This is Westchester. This is New York City. This is all over New Jersey. There's no gas. Yeah, and the president, he got his photo op yesterday, and he just took off.
And as far as I know, he didn't visit Breezy Point, didn't visit Rockaway.
He didn't come to New York at all.
Any of those places that were really terribly hit by it and are really suffering mightily. 80 homes lost, people dying, people out of their homes. I mean, it's a disaster. The systemic problem that we have, however, is we don't have enough energy. And we don't have modern sources of infrastructure for energy, and we haven't built them. And we haven't built them because there's so much dawn opposition, usually very excessive environmental groups that make it impossible to build a new generator, build a new nuclear power plant, extend new transmission lines. Any place you want to extend transmission lines, when the president killed the single easiest one you could have done, the Keystone Pipeline.
Right.
This has been going on.
This is madness.
This has been going on all over the country. So you end up operating on the brink. In a major city like New York, it's true of all our major cities, you're sort of operating on the brink. I put in 10 generators in New York City when I was the mayor. Each one of them had to be kind of a small generator because we didn't want to have environmental review. If I had an environmental review, those generators still wouldn't be built.
That's insane. All right, now.